one of the biggest findings in positive psychology is that discovering new ways to use your signature strength to deploy it in a different way every day is one of the greatest things you can do for character growth. Change starts today. My friend Ron Johnson said that, and I love how that phrase sums up what we're doing. Today, you're going to change. For better, for worse, on purpose or by accident, a lot or a little, by the time you get to the end of this day, you will have one day's worth of change behind you, and you will never get this day back. So let's get after it, because change starts today. I want to talk to you today about discovering your signature strength. We're making available a survey, and it's done by an institute called VIA, VIA. That used to stand for Values in Action or Virtues in Action. Now they actually use it to talk about how this is being done through a connection via the best in research. But you might also think about, as we're pursuing growth, we're doing it via our faith in God. I can't, he can. I think I'll let him. And we want to cheer each other on with this. So I want to start today by telling you a wonderful moment in the life of a friend of mine. Her name is Veronica, and she's a colleague of Nancy's. And she sent this out to a whole group of us, mostly folks that are pastors, but this is really for everybody. And as you think about how has God wired you up? How is God calling you to change and calling other people to change? You might like this. Last Saturday, Veronica said, I loaded my almost 3-year-old into the front of my mountain bike, took him to some of our favorite trails above UC Santa Cruz. It's one of my favorite things to do with him. Not just because I love the redwoods and any time spent in them is actually the best thing ever, but because there is nothing else I can do while we ride but listen and chat with him about whatever might pop into his head. In the midst of our crazy life, these bike rides are when I feel most connected to him. At one point on this particular ride, I was climbing up a large hill, and I guess I was struggling more than I knew. My son started to whisper just under his breath, "Go, mommy, go. Go, mommy, go. Go, mommy, go." It wasn't a shout. I'm not even sure that it was meant for my ears. I just couldn't shake the feeling that I want to be more like that with the people in my life. Not just audibly rooting for them and encouraging them, but being a quiet cheerleader, not seeking the spotlight, uplifting them with genuine support and belief. Go, mommy, go. And then she writes to the folks that she sent this to, but you might receive this to you. You hear the struggles and hardships of the people around you, and you intentionally pray for them and quietly assist them without seeking recognition. I don't fully understand much in life, but I can tell you, just as I will forever remember my son quietly cheering me on during the hardest part of my ride, so will people forever remember your encouragement. And you never know when it's coming in the hardest part of somebody's ride. God will use you to create lasting impact in the lives of those around you. I was thinking when I read this story about a character in the New Testament. We read not a great deal about him. If you're a Bible person, you might know about him. In the book of Acts, we're told a bit about him. His name was Joe. He was from Cyprus. And the first time that we read about him, he sold off a field that he had. He was part of his spiritual community where they had pretty much nothing. And he was somebody that had something. So he sold it, but then he took the money, and it says he laid it at the apostles' feet. He just said, you all will know what to do with this to help people, so I want you to have it. And in that text, it says they gave him a new name. His old name was Joe, but they called him Bar. That was the Hebrew or Aramaic word for son. Barnabas, son of encouragement. Now, to name someone the sum of something, some quality, the son or daughter of, means that it is so deeply a part of them that it's part of their identity. It's in their DNA. And in Barnabas's life, we see this quality. When Saul was converted and became Paul, and he had been threatening murderous intent on the lives of Christians. So we're told that the disciples were afraid to accept Paul, to take him into their little tribe. And it was Barnabas who said, no, he's met God. This is the real thing. And then it was Barnabas who took Paul under his wing and began to go off and do preaching and teaching that would change the world. And then we read that initially it was Barnabas and Paul. In ancient literature, the leader would generally have their name go first. And then all of a sudden we read in one chapter that it's now Paul and Barnabas, or even Paul and his companions. And so Barnabas, once again, is encouraging the leadership, the impact of Paul. But lest you think that Barnabas is just this kind of spineless person that did nothing but agree with everybody, later on, he disagrees with Paul so sharply about a man named John Mark. John Mark had deserted them. They were going to go on another mission. Paul said, I haven't got time for this guy. Let's leave him behind. Barnabas said, oh no, Paul, you're wrong. I'm taking him with. And he disagreed with Paul so sharply that he split from him in order to take John Mark. You think about how much John Mark knew that Barnabas saw something, believed in him. And Barnabas turns out to be right. Later on, Paul is really grateful for the ministry of John Mark. Now, encouragement in Barnabas, the son of encouragement, go mommy, go, go mommy, go, go mommy, go, is what might be called his signature strength. We're sending out a link today for you to take a survey. It's a free survey. Now, when you take it, you can get the results back. You will get offered other tests that you can get or other reports that you can get that cost money. We're not getting any money for that. You can get free results directly, so don't feel any need or obligation to spend any more money on any more reports. You can if you want to, but that's not part of us. But it's from this outfit VIA, which is the most serious attempt to do a scientific study of character strengths. And the folks behind it, starting with a guy named Martin Seligman, other folks, I'm talking as part of this series with Roger Bretherton, who is a psychologist that's a part of that movement. They'll identify 24 different strengths. We're going to walk through those together, but there will be a few that are what might be called your signature strength. They're character qualities: love, creativity, curiosity, humility, forgiveness. It's going to be a wonderful journey for them, but you will find that a few of them are at the core of who you are, like encouragement was for Barnabas. Go, mommy, go. Martin Seligman said that part of the way that you recognize the signature strength is there's a sense of ownership and authenticity to it. This is the real me. Or a feel of excitement while displaying it. Or a rapid learning curve as this character strength is first practiced. Or a sense of yearning to find new ways to use it. And actually, one of the biggest findings in positive psychology is that discovering new ways to use your signature strength, to deploy it in a different way every day, is one of the greatest things you can do for character growth. A feeling of inevitability in using this strength. Try and stop me. Invigoration rather than exhaustion after using this strength. Go, mommy, go. I think that little kid, I think Barnabas, when he was saying, go, church, go, go, Paul, go, John Mark, go, he found that very enlivening. Creation and pursuit of personal projects that revolve around it, joy, zest, enthusiasm, even ecstasy while using it. So, the invitation today is click on that link, take that free survey, take a look at all 24 of those virtues, of those character strengths. Now, one of them is going to be number 24. That doesn't mean it's your weakness. Something has to be number 24. That's part of your virtue, your character as well. And it can be a good thing to work on that one. But folks who work in this area will say, actually, if you focus on taking something that is a strength and making it stronger, developing it, deploying it creatively, it will lift all of your character, including weaknesses that you have. So here's the deal. We're changing every day. We make a little choice, and every choice you make touches that deepest part of you where you are becoming ultimately something that C.S. Lewis says would be a nightmare if we were to run into it today, or something that would look to us like a creature that we want to worship. Let's go for that. Let's go for good. Let's ask God, going through this day anyhow, God, how do you want to change me? And of course, you don't do this on your own. Jesus is right there with you. Go, mommy, go. Go, daddy, go. Go, you go. Change starts today.
Hey, I'm Tim. Thanks for joining us. Before you leave, you can subscribe to this channel or like this video or comment on the video. We love to read those comments. We read them every day, so we'd love to hear from you there. If you'd like to receive the emails that go along with each video, you can let us know at becomenew.com/subscribe. Or if you have a prayer request, we would love to pray for you. You can text that request to 855-888-0444. See you next time.